We are all going through one of the most important times in the financial history of human beings. Right now, looking at the macro, how things are evolving, everything is so important. If we understand it correctly, you can be on that direction to get the generational wealth. Right now, I won't say like these central banks are going bust. If you know what's happening in Japan, you can't bet against the central bank. They are buying everything in that country. So if you're buying that, what they are buying, automatically the prices are going up, you make money. So instead of going rebel, you can use this as a huge opportunity. Right now, you are literally observing things change, and while they are changing, you also have to understand there are things evolving in a way that is so interesting. On the one side, the economy is dropping hard, and on the other side, they are looking for the digital currencies, which is central bank digital currency. And remember, they are now entering into an area where they are observing you take your money out this fast with the internet, your banking app. I don't think they really like that. Because when you're taking this amount of money out, they need to replace that. Central banks are giving that money to the banks. So that means when this is going to roll out, people are going to be controlled. You may not be able to take more money out. Here in Canada, I think it's like $3,000 a day, or you need permission to spend your own money. So that is one type of control, whatever way you put that, right? Then, if that's entering into different areas, people are already starting to think differently. They are starting to look for a different scenario. They are starting to look for different opportunities. And that's why I think cryptocurrencies are going to play a major role. Because in the price action side of this, whether you are looking for a short term, medium term, to long term, you do get to see how the narrative is playing out. On the short term, you're observing for a pattern which is evolving great. On the macro, for the market, you're literally zooming out and seeing like, okay, the trend is shifting. There is something happening in the world which is pushing people towards assets. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get learn how to become the next top 10%. Now, while we look at this, after the recent rally here, we had a 5-day consolidation. After which, right now, it's been like 4 days. It's okay. We have maybe a couple more days or entire week. Why would I say that? Because when we go on a weekly, we just got a weekly candle close for XRP. If you take XRP and a weekly chart on a candlestick pattern, it kind of gives you the ability to understand like, yeah, we tried to break through, but we did not manage to close it above. It's not bearish because the way you have to look at this is we had previous resistance here and the support here, which means the bottom of that zone is at 0.5. Now, we are still trying to somehow manage to stay above that level of 0.5, which I think is really important because as I've been saying, 0.49 is kind of a key level of support, after which you need to literally test the moving average on a daily chart at least, and that actually comes to take to like 0.47 for XRP. Right now, XRP is at 0.52. What we would like to see basically is that the price go back up, kick this level of 0.54, go high. But what the price action shows us is that, okay, there is a huge possibility that these three candles, they may repeat one more time. I don't think that's a bad scenario either, because if you get to see the same pattern happening as a continuation movement to the downside, most likely you may come down to test this moving average. That's still fine. If that happens, it is going to be one of that opportunity zones. That's what we discussed in yesterday's video, right? If you are looking at the right coins in the market on the right direction, you're observing how the volume is moving, you're observing how the market is looking at them. Because some of these assets, especially when you look at them on the monthly chart, it kind of gives you that ability to understand, okay, they are doing something, right? Say for XRP, I would say it's a healthy level of correction to come back down to test this range. We broke this level to the upside. We need to come back down to 47.465, that range, and then get a bounce. That is going to be one of the most important thing to notice there. If you remember, we've been talking about this possibility that we had this double bottom, we go back up, but here you had an upper level to respect, the price respected that. Here you don't have any upper level considering the recent past. So you are going to come back and test this level. And once we get to see that is now neutral, meaning you bounce off from that level, I think it is going to be critical. Like, don't go bearish at that level when we are bouncing back up. But right now, you can expect a consolidation coming back down, whether it's in XRP or Bitcoin or Ether. You look at these different assets and you get to see what they are doing. So when you jump onto the Japanese candlestick, yeah, the month is closed in a bullish manner. You actually went up. This is all looking good. It's all looking fine. Great. Now, one of the reasons why I say we are not going much lower is that when I look at this, in a way, like while we are comparing with a lot of these price action technicals on different time horizon, and I see this as a possible movement where you completed the wave 1, then you are just preparing for the wave 2. Now, why would I say that? Because for me, when I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, there is a possibility that you just did these 3-wave structure, right? That's actually good. That's positive in my opinion, because when you're looking at this, what you also have to understand is that when you go look at different assets, let it be now, you may not be the fan of these assets, but you will also agree at one point that they clearly showed you that there is a structure playing out in the market, which is wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. Whether that's Solana, whether that is like Sia Coin, whether that's like NEM, you go look at a lot of these assets, all of them showed you that the market does this thing clearly. So when we observe that the market can do that, if it's doing in the last market cycle, why wouldn't it do here? Now, if it's about to drop back down after the first wave, I would say like, okay, this is the first wave. You went up. Now, what's the major difference? Last time, the price did not join the wave 1 cycle party, I would call, in the altcoin market. See, if you look at this time, it's like September 2016, and it only started moving from early March 2017. So now you jump back here in other assets like this, or you can go on, check out Ether or any other asset, and you'll see like XRP started moving from here, right? It started moving from here. Whereas these assets actually went up, and it's not just a normal 2 to 3x rally which they did. Here, Sia Coin did 50x. Remember, by June 2016, Sia Coin did like a 50x, and here we are doing a 100% move. So XRP didn't even join in that wave 1 structure. Clearly. Now, if you go look at, say, Ether, let us see, like, 2016, what Ether was doing. Yeah, you get to say the same price structure. By that time, Ether had done around 50x. So the altcoin market in general did say around 40x or 35x in average. And XRP did 100%. That's kind of like it didn't do anything. Great. Now, right now in the altcoin market, what you observe is that the wave 1 in the market structure kind of completed around 30-35x. Okay, from the top to bottom, 43x. And XRP this time is not a 100% move. Instead, from the bottom of this wick towards the tip, we did a 14x. So I personally think that's massive. Last time you just did barely move. This time you followed the market at least, even with the SEC case here, right? You didn't go way higher like a lot of other assets, but you did manage to run up like this. And I think that's positive. Just for wave 1, you matched up with these assets. Now, what does that mean? When you're matching up with these assets, if that's your wave 1, like 45x, say you pick that clearly, you see like somewhere close to 40x. What's your wave 2 like? It's way higher. When you're running like 40-50x to 100x, you're getting at least 1.5 to 2 times wave 1 and wave 2. Now, the same, you go into a lot of these different assets, you can actually take any one of those to look like, okay, what they have done. Say a coin, especially here, did almost 3 times wave 1 and wave 2, even after running up like this. Now, you'll have a lot of these assets in the market. If you have studied the price structure for a lot of these, you will be surprised where some of the assets like NIM did like 155x in wave 1. Now, when you get such a monster rally, the price action now goes confusing. Each time the price is going up, people are tempted to take the money out, move out. Why? Because those who are holding the asset from here, for them it's a massive ROI structure, and the price action shows you like the breakout here. So you literally got somewhere close to that in the rally. But when you're getting monster rallies in wave 1, don't expect 2 to 3 times of that in wave 2. Whereas for XRP, you only did like 14x in wave 1. So expecting a 2 to 3 times of that is like normal. It's not that big deal. It's normal stuff. Say 14x into 3 would be 42x. So if you take that into the right perspective, you can say somewhere close to $15 can be a normal target for XRP. But yes, we understand the fact that last time when you did 100% move in the first one, you literally did 100x more than that in wave 2. Now, can that happen this time? I don't think so, because we joined the party in wave 1. Most likely we would follow the market. Now, $15 per XRP in wave 2 is not a bad thing, but we all understand one fact. When the market goes higher, whether it's to the upside or when it moves to the downside, at these two areas, either the fear or the greedy part, people kind of forget what they're really doing. That's why we usually see way lower than the actual support. You wicks lower and then come back up. And when you go up, you go crazy. The price gets to test super euphoric ranges and then come back down. So whether it's to the upside or to the downside, you always see these whales and retailers trying to push it through to the next level and then gets rejected. That means if we are looking for $14, $15 range, it can still go to $18 to $20, $22. That can still be the price range. Now, this is just a thought process, what I'm going through right now, because I'm getting a lot of message where people are asking like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And while looking at this and spending hours here, I would share one perspective like, yeah, if we are joining the party in the altcoin market, it is really, really important to go look at the altcoin market. Now, this is like a long way. It's not the clear details what we want, but in the price action terms, it kind of gives us a reality. Like we just did this structure in the last run up. You got the wave 1, you got the wave 2, you got the wave 3. Clear. Great. In this market cycle, I'm like, okay, the price actually did try to do like, if we take that out, you can actually see like before we started doing wave 1, you had this rally. That was the wave 1, right? The first push up, then a retest and bounce. And that was the wave 1. And here in this cycle, we got something similar, right? We went up, came back down, and then bounced higher. And that happens to be the wave 1 structure. And we have not yet moved back up to wave 2 in my thought process for the altcoins. Whereas for Bitcoin, we have done that. We're going for wave 3 to the upside. So the way I count this is like wave 1, wave 2, and wave 3, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? I'm looking at the positive scenario. So the impulse to the upside is 1, 2, and 3. So that means you are literally looking for the next wave to the upside. Now, if we follow the market last time, was just like somewhere close to like 6x in wave 1, and in wave 2 the market did like 35x. That is actually a monster rally, like not 2 to 3 times. Even if you put it in the average way, saying okay, I'm not taking the exact bottom, I'm not taking the exact top, you'll still get to see a 5x of the average. So now what we do is look at what the market has done in the wave 1, that's like a 30x, and if we say a 5x of that is coming, now that literally takes the market towards like, gigantic heights. It's like 140x. But based on XRP, to do that, We are only saying that the market may do a 40x, which would not even be 2 times of wave 1 and wave 2. That still will get XRP towards $15. And if this is actually moving a little bit higher, a little bit sideways, you will still get that amount of price structure moving. Say, you go take a little bit more noise in the market to see like where the price actually resisted, and you get to see like, okay, this is still a possibility. This is a long-term trend line which we are observing, and this kind of shows us, okay, we are moving inside this trend. Trend is your friend, and right now you're close to the support range. As I understand, the market is so diverse. There's a lot of people involved in this, but most of them get it hard to buy at the support or sell at the resistance, right? During these times, it's so confusing whether we are going for another move to the upside or to the downside, to buy or to sell, right? So that's a little bit of confusion in the market. Anyway, now we're jumping into the Bitcoin side of things. It's trending lower in the RSI. We have not yet managed to break back higher. The pattern is still here. You have not broken to the upside. So that means you may still test this moving average and come back down to this level. Now, why am I thinking in that way? Because when I look at the pattern formation here in the ether, it just shows me like, okay, we did 1, 2, 3, and then went up. So I'm like, okay, Bitcoin did the 1, Bitcoin did the 2. Maybe it can also do a 3 structure to the downside, testing this support, and then go back up. Who knows? Maybe it's going to bounce from here right now. But when you actually go on a 3-day chart, or at least on a macro side of this, yeah, we understand the fact that the weekly close is here, and it's not giving us any details whatsoever. Because if you are zooming in like this and looking at the price action, we had large red volume, the price didn't go down. We had some amount of buyers, the price didn't go up. We have right now started a new week, and it's like another 7 days to get some kind of confirmation. But what we have to keep in mind is, as long as we are above this, it's super bullish. As long as you come back, test this and bounce, it's super bullish. Now imagine the price is not coming down to this level. Imagine the price is just bursting higher from here, putting a lot more confusing attitude in the market. Because when the price goes up like that without coming back down, I personally expect it to come back down at one point, right? I mean, historically, Bitcoin has done that. We have seen that back in here, right? We broke to the upside, we went all the way back up. You get to see that 1, 2, 3 structure, then you correct back down. And when you're correcting back down with that A, B, C, you came back to this level, you retested this level. So I'm like, okay, if we are not retesting this level and we are going up, can it be like, okay, we are going to get rejected at 30,000? I mean, I literally doubt that fact, because if we are looking for this 3-wave structure after this break or the move 1, 2, 3, we're like, okay, we got momentum here. This is sure one. And if we are trying to put that perspective in a clear way to see like, when Bitcoin moves, how does that move come in? Like a 37% move in the first one, 76 in the second one, and again 70, 73 in the third one. Now, if we take the same attitude, somewhat clear, you got around 48% here. So now let's say the next one is going to be somewhat like 80 to 90, 95. It's going to be $37,000. So I'm like, wow, I'm not even counting the third wave, and we are already up. And say we drop back down to 30 and we do another 70, 80, and that's like $40,000, $50,000. So literally, there is going to be something heavy coming in. We don't know when it's coming, but based on this, that means you may literally do a big correction after this run up. Now, you can use different tools for that. If you actually take in fib level for that, like last time when you did the first run up, you went up to 0.618. That's like a golden level to look for, right? So imagine you take the same here and look for where that comes in. I would say, okay, if the price come back to that level which we just checked based on the price structure, that's somewhat like $47,000, $48,000. So imagine the price goes to $48,000, $49,000 and then drop back to retest this level. That's a 50% drop in the market. That's panic, that's fear. So something is gonna come at that point. So if we are not getting a retest here right now, that means we're going to have a huge downside like this. But if we actually do something like what we have done in the last cycle here, it's going to be better. I would say like it's much better. You get 30-40% corrections every now and then. That's okay. Not like 40-50% of huge corrections and the panic. Here you get that 30% drops every now and then, and still the market go back up. So you're just testing the moving average and going back up. Now, let's take that situation here in the market and say like, okay, what if we are going to follow that pattern? Say the price need to come back down when the moving average is going to go back up. That means you may still see somewhat like 15% drop in the market. And that usually, if you actually put that down, it's somewhere close to this resistance turning into a support. Moving average is coming back up, price may come back down. That makes sense. Somewhat like $24,000, $25,000, you bounce back up. That's going to be a healthy scenario. Now, in both of these cases, what we have to understand is when the last rally started here, the move in Bitcoin was not actually gigantic moves. Like you do this and you drop heavy, right? Say here, right now, we didn't drop heavy yet. We are still around 75% to the upside. We haven't dropped heavy. Now, if we are dropping at 30%, I would say that's still okay, following the historical pattern. But the resistance is then pushed to the downside. The next time you need to break 22. So I personally think like more or less it's going to be close to 24,000, which will be the great range. Now, when I say this, I also keep in mind the fact that the RSI actually showed me that this level broke to the upside and the price action is still at that range. So now I go back in the history. I want to see like, okay, last time when we were doing that here, what did the price action show me? So that's at the bottom here. When you broke to the upside, the market did not come back down. It did have a small glitch or a little bit of bump here, making the market think like, okay, we may come back down. Now, when we zoom in, look at how that glitch was slowed down. Now, this is a weekly chart. So literally, you got like 2 weeks of nothing. And then you went back up. So now we zoom out and we want to see like what the hell is happening right now. We're like, okay, something similar is going on. So if we still get a bounce from here, that may match up, right? Now we are going here, right? We got a giant candle, a burst to the upside, and literally 3 weeks we didn't do anything, and then we started climbing back higher. So instead of coming back down, there is a possibility the market can do that too. So like we literally have 2 possibilities we are looking at, and it's like the market can do anything if we get something bad. But right now, the trend is to the upside. You broke the moving average on a weekly, you came back, retested and bounced. And on the monthly chart, remember, it's a monthly chart we are discussing. It's a huge win structure for Bitcoin itself here. That's like a double bottom structure, giving you a massive breakout on the weekly. And then when you come on to the monthly, you already cleared all these levels. You're moving up, you're making this level. And on the monthly, it kind of makes more sense to say like, yeah, I think we are going to do this structure and then come back down, right? So $35,000-$40,000, then come back down to 25. Or if we get euphoric, go back up to that 45, 47 and then come back down. So the market is not directly going to 100,000 or maybe 500,000. We may still revisit these levels. So have patience, because when you take the same perspective and jump back into XRP, you want to see like, okay, what are we looking here? I would say like, okay, it actually makes sense to first retest this level, which is 0.48, 0.47, that range. And if we drop, what we are looking at is 0.37, not somewhat close to 0.2, 0.25. I really don't think that is going to be the case, because I think this trend line is going to hold, because historically that's what we have watched. So now let's wait to see how this month ends, and this month just started. So it's going to be a slow process. Day by day, we are going to look through how the price action is interacting. Every week, we are going to watch like what is the candles showing us, because right now it's like 3 bullish candles to the upside and getting a little bit of correction. An inside candle is still going to be great for us because we are above the moving average. The moving average is trending to the upside. Let it be on a weekly, let it be on a daily. The trend is to the upside and trend is your friend. So if you are looking for the monthly charts of a lot of these assets to understand whether they are above a support, whether they are below a support, a lot is happening in the market right now. And if you are looking for something like this, the link for all this is given in the description below, Patreon, right? So guys, if you received value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done that already. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye-bye.